मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, Thompson defends suspending USP Vice Chancellor. Rape claims against anti-government Facebook page administrator. And Lautoka efforts praised.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
University of the South Pacific Pro-Chancellor Winston Thompson says the Executive Committee acted within its powers to suspend Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Aluwalia pending an investigation into allegations of misconduct. Thompson stressed that an emergency meeting was called on Monday to deal with certain issues that got out of hand. He adds protests at the Lauvala campus were caused by the leak of internal documents, which then disrupted internal processes dealing with allegations levelled against the VC. Lena Rees has more.
Thompson explains that during an emergency, the Executive Committee may act on behalf of the USP Council and then report back to the Council.
The governance instruments under which we operate are clear. The Executive Committee has the power under the statutes and ordinances of the university to take action in the case that it did on the issues that it took on Monday.
The Pro-Chancellor went on to say that he is very concerned that recent statements allege the meeting on Monday was illegal and that he has no authority to call such a meeting.
And those who are instigating those claims are doing a gross misservice because they should know, and if they don't know, they should have made the effort to know what the statement within our governing instruments say and not perpetrate information that is wrong.
Meanwhile, Thompson says members of the USP Council who have made statements showing that they are not on board with the decision of the Executive Committee do not have all the information to make such comments.
Of course, there will be some members who would be unhappy, but I would suggest that this is on the basis of incomplete information, that they need to have all of the information before they can make those things, make that sort of comment.
USP Pro-Chancellor Winston Thompson has reiterated that he will only step down from the position if the decision is made by majority of the USP Council. Lena Rees, FBC News.
A petition has surfaced from students seeking to abolish the University of the South Pacific Students Association. It was initially brought to the office of now suspended Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Aluwalia. Pro-Chancellor Winston Thompson has assured that the institution's governing body and executive committee is taking steps to get back to its proper operating system. Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Derek Armstrong says his office has reached out to the student body executives, but they refuse to meet. He adds that their main challenge is to maintain stability and support students.
That is something that the Vice-Chancellor's office is responsible for, and I'm sure they will conduct the necessary investigation.
Yes, I've become aware that there is a complaint has been made in relation to that. That will be investigated through the proper processes within the university.
As investigations on the raid carried out at the National Federation Party and the suspended SEDELPA headquarters 2 days ago continues, the parties are now saying more on the issue. The raid was carried out after anti-government Facebook administrator Feral Khan was taken in for questioning in relation to his allegation that he and his group have been fueling racial tension and posting anti-government fake news on several prominent anti-government Facebook pages over several years in exchange for cash payments made by opposition parties. Pranita Prakash reports.
FBC News sent email questions to NFP leader Biman Prasad this morning as a follow-up to Prasad's statement last night. Prasad didn't answer any of the 11 questions, but a statement was made by party member Kamal Iyer saying Feral Khan was one of the many people who went to the Lautoka office offering support or seeking help from time to time. Feral Khan is renowned for fueling racial division via his anti-government postings on social media sites under his name and on pages such as the notorious Fiji Exposed Forum, other related Fiji Exposed pages and Samachar Darshan. Khan has been in particular writing a number of posts against the likes of the Prime Minister, the Attorney General and other members and associates of the ruling Fiji First Party. Sources have told FBC News that Khan claims to have posted fake anti-government news with his group on the request by opposition political parties and some of their members in exchange for cash. Today's NFP statement says the party does not keep records of the dates and times people come and go or the precise help they want to offer. While responding to our email, Kamal Iyer says no one in the party leadership knew anything about Khan because he did nothing important. The NFP seemed upset when questioned on Biman Prasad's press release last night, which clearly stated that Feral Khan was not paid for any work that he did. Iyer says most of the questions sent by FBC News appear to be leading questions designed to produce a slanted story. Iyer then threatened to publish our questions for the public to judge on our credibility as a news organization. The suspended Sodelpa party and its leader Sitiveni Rambuka have also been accused by Feral Khan of paying him cash for posting fake anti-government news. Rambuka and senior party member Ro Filipe Tuisavau refused to answer questions, saying they couldn't do so as long as the party remained suspended. However, they then referred all questions to the suspended party's vice president, Vijay Singh. Meanwhile, Feral Khan remains in custody following his second arrest by Nandi police in relation to the alleged rape of a minor. Police have confirmed the matter was reported at the Namaka police station 2 weeks ago. FBC News is working on gathering more information regarding Feral Khan's allegation, and we will have more on this story over this weekend. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The cooperation of the Lautoka people during the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions have been praised by the Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama. Speaking during the coastal protection works at Namoli village, Bainimarama says the support of the people of Lautoka assisted in the nationwide attempts to stomp out the coronavirus. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Fiji's first case of COVID-19 was identified here in Lautoka on the 19th of March. And Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama today says if the first patient had not acted decisively then, Lautoka could all too easily have become the epicenter of a viral outbreak.
We acted quickly to stop the virus in its tracks, sparing Fiji from the tragic loss of life seen in other nations. I ask you all, please keep the hundreds of thousands of families around the world who have lost loved ones to this pandemic in your prayers.
As of last Friday, Fiji is among the few countries on earth with no active cases of COVID-19. However, the Prime Minister is calling on people to not be complacent.
This is a global pandemic, and the virus continues to rage around the world. We must continue to be vigilant and keep the healthy habits that have been the heart of Fiji's success.
Meanwhile, the damaging threats of coastal erosion on the village of Namoli will now be a thing of the past as a new seawall was being commissioned.
We worked in integrating our solutions both as an environment-friendly and environment-led initiatives for the families and the communities of Fiji.
The project cost $700,000. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources Chone Osumate has cleared the air today over what he says is misinformation on the bauxite mining at Nawailevu Mbua. Osumate visited the site yesterday on a 4-day tour of the Northern Division to familiarise himself with the ministry's projects in Vanua-Levu. Eleanor Tarangaiviu has more.
Aurum Exploration Fiji Limited started mining bauxite at Nawailevu in Mbua in 2011. 2 years ago, the company ceased the mining operations and has since rehabilitated the mined area.
They rehabilitated that site. They put the topsoil back. They added some components to the soil to make sure the soil is more productive, and they planted pine back. And the pine is very lush.
The company has planted approximately 160,000 pine trees, which the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources says will benefit the landowners in the near future.
After the surface lease has been completed, the people of the land will be returned to the landowners, so they'll be able to get income again from the pine that has been planted.
According to Osamate, during the mining operations, the Mineral Resources Department was monitoring the environmental impact of the company's works.
In terms of sediments going into the streams, when the bauxite was being extracted, it did not get into the oceans and so forth. So the close monitoring on that side tried to make sure that there was minimum impact on the environment.
Usamate adds the returns to the landowners has been great as they are given employment and continue to be employed by the company. Aurum Explorations currently employs around 300 locals. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC News.
Up ahead, sugar industry restructure necessary and 2 villages connected to the grid.
Pula natang ko approach lang kerse, ko erkraki. Do televisi ono barong na radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
It's a dream come true for people living in the Nabuto and Nasoata settlements of Lautoka, as finally they have electricity in their homes. While commissioning the project, Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says this will greatly benefit children who can now study at night without using kerosene lanterns. The 2 communities can now enjoy the benefits of reliable power now and in the future.
We've been trying this for more than 20 years. We've been trying, knocking on doors of the government to help us in having electricity. And for all those years, we are lucky enough that this running government help us and assist us in having electricity.
The sugarcane industry needs to be restructured to support the economy and match the new normal. Economist Dr. Rohit Kishore says the restructure should unite growers, landowners and mill workers through a mechanism which enhances performance. Kritika Kumar reports.
In light of COVID-19, Dr. Rohit Kishore says the current trend cannot be allowed to continue.
We want to see commercial rate farming there. Big pieces of land and some corporate, businesses getting into farming, like other places, like Queensland and all other places you see.
The economist believes the sugar industry has potential, but marketing strategies need to be stronger.
Because businesses, people will only put money where there is revenue, where there is profit. So if we see the profitable in the industry is profitable, I think it's a good industry to get in. But that's the way we should restructure. The policy should come and see that. Large portions of land, you get all mechanical, mechanized farming, and that's the hope for sugar industry.
The Sugarcane Growers Fund says it welcomes commercial farming for sugarcane, which will contribute to economic recovery.
I think the industry as a whole intends to increase the production. With the production, intends to increase the yield. You would also note that small stakeholder farmers are there, but there is also land available.
Dr. Kishore says the COVID-19 crisis will continue to unfold for some time, casting a painful shadow over the economy, and therefore Fiji needs a comprehensive plan. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Since schools closed down in March due to the COVID-19 restriction, private schools have been working tirelessly to keep students engaged. One example is Bright Little Ones Kindergarten in Suva, where teachers have conducted daily 1-hour virtual classes for the past 7 weeks for 75 students. However, a different way of engaging students was witnessed this morning through a fun drive storytelling initiative. Chosaina Nunga reports.
Kindergarten Director Milika Ratutivivi says the initiative is unusual, informative and interactive to ensure these young ones make up for time lost due to the restriction.
We could just see the children's eyes lit up when they saw the teachers in drill, because we've been having virtual learning, and there was a question that one of our 4-year-olds asked, when are we having real school?
Ratutivivi says the pandemic has driven most teachers to find innovative approaches.
With most of us teachers that are out there as well, it's something that we have to keep on challenging our mind. How else can we think outside of the box, outside of the classroom, to be able to bring out the children and just let them know that everything is normal, everything is still there.
It's a very good initiative. Great work from the teachers. Like doing those big cardboards and painting and drawing.
The privately owned kindergarten was established in 2014 and has educated over 1,000 children and expects increasing enrollment in the coming years. Chosaina Nunga, FBC News.
Turning to world news now, it has been revealed that a former Minneapolis police officer charged with murdering George Floyd tried to reach a plea deal before his arrest. It comes amid a congressional hearing in a bid to pass reforms on police brutality. And it's business time now with Whitney.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in business tonight, business coaching for SMEs.
Young business owners are in need of support.
And Mombasa company taps into solar energy. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Kadavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation has launched an online seminar or webinar to help micro, small and medium enterprises deal with challenges presented by COVID-19. The webinar, which began today, is facilitated by an international master trainer and 4 highly experienced local business coaches. Koroi Tandulala reports.
The webinar will allow small businesses around the country to engage directly with business coaches on topics such as creative marketing and COVID-19 financial management.
Now more than ever, the women and young business owners are in need of support due to the developments with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic and its extensive impact on businesses in Fiji. We are happy to say that with the incorporation of business counseling and webinars, we can further assist these businesses at no cost to them at all.
Workers and employers, they have been engaged in this process, working with their, for example, FCF was working with their member organizations and covered almost all member organizations of FCF to understand what the impact of the COVID on their businesses and jobs.
Australian High Commissioner to Fiji, John Feek, says as an international partner, they are committed to helping small businesses survive and grow from this pandemic.
The launch of the 6-part webinar series provides a new platform for local MSMEs where they can gain insights, inspiration and the latest information to help them navigate the best way forward through the current crisis.
The webinar also aims to ensure business survival, revival and growth in times of crisis such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
World-renowned brand Zara has booked its first quarterly loss as the coronavirus crisis forced it to shut most of its shops. But the company's shares rose after it unveiled a €2.7 billion plan to accelerate its focus on large stores and online sales. We now join Shoran from HFC Bank with the latest from the money markets.
Looking at the latest in foreign exchange market, the US Federal Reserve kept its target rate unchanged at 0 to 0.25%. However, their economic projection, the Fed highlighted 3 concerns. Fed policymakers projected the US economy would shrink by 6.5% this year. The unemployment rate is expected to decline from the current 13.3 to 9.3% by year-end. They predict the inflation rate will be 0.8% this year, then 1.6% and 1.7% over the next 2 years. The grim economic outlook spooked investors, sending them fleeing to safe haven assets. The US dollar rose against riskier currencies, while the safe haven yen hit a 1-month high. The Australian dollar retreated from an overnight 11-month high, falling as much as 0.5%, while the Kiwi gave up a 4.5-month high and fell 0.3%. Data released today for New Zealand showed retail spending jumped 79% in May as businesses reopened after the April lockdown. And that's all now from HFC Bank, Vinaka.
Turning to today's exchange rates as set this morning, the turbulent global money markets saw the Fiji dollar on the rise against the currencies of world's 2 great economic powers, China and the USA, but it slipped slightly against the other currencies we cover. Looking at commodities, crude oil prices rose slightly to $38.50 a barrel. Gold was on the rise, well, closing at $1,732 per ounce, and silver was up slightly at $17.90 an ounce. In growing Fiji tonight, Vanuatu's main seafood exporter, Gold Hold Seafood Limited, has become the first company in the Northern Division to develop an entire facility run on solar energy. The initiative was opened last night by the Minister of Infrastructure, John Usamate, and Minister for Rural and Maritime Development, Inia Seruratu. Usamate applauded the company for its vision given the country's efforts to move from fossil fuels to green energy. The minister hopes this development in Mombasa will challenge other companies in Fiji.
This in turn is a pointer to other industries in Fiji, that it is possible for us to look at giving this energy source that we have, the sun, that God gives us, to make use of that, because the cost of fuel, the impact of buying fuel in our economy in terms of the difference between our trade balance, amount of money that's being spent on fuel, if we can harness renewable energy in this country, is going to have benefits not only for our climate, but also for our own economy. So I think the company is to be congratulated for taking up this role.
Gold Hole Limited Director Richard Dew says they have other plans, including solar farms, to be connected to the Energy Fiji Limited power grid. That's it from Business Tonight. We now join Aquila with the latest in sports.
Good evening. In Sports Tonight, more offers for Sevens playmaker and Pearls coaches' applications on hold. These and more coming up.
Bola, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Talks are still ongoing between Fiji Sevens rep Terio Tamani and some overseas clubs. While the national Sevens playmaker is yet to make up his mind, another player who recently secured an overseas contract has the Flying Fijians as his next stop.
A lot of new players are coming to join the squad, and that will motivate and challenge to prepare even better for his spot in the team. Some clubs are contacting me, but I will wait for a much better offer. One of the clubs is my former club, Nottingham.
I'm looking at representing the Flying Fijians as well.
Kaiviti's Siltails dummy half Penaya Leveleve has one aim, and that is to be part of the Fiji Mbati squad for the 2021 Rugby League World Cup. The 24-year-old is aware that getting there is easier said than done. Caroline Tavi with more.
After Leveleve's mother passed when he was 6, rugby was a way to fill that void in his life.
Rugby was in my blood, even though I was in secondary school. And I was so fortunate that rugby was really motivated me when I see others, my friends was playing, and one day I want to be like them too. From there I keep on myself, one day I'll reach where I want to be in the level where I am. A dream come true for me, even though every child dream to be part of the Fiji team, but for me, again I learned a lot from their experience, from the way they play.
Meanwhile, players have been given an elite development pathway program to manage their training amidst the COVID-19 restrictions.
Siltails have embarked on the EDP program, Elite Development Pathways program. This is to make sure that they're able to keep fit.
A lot of exercises are following the previous program that given by us from the coaches. Following it, it's difficult to be walk alone, even though sometimes I don't have a partner to work with, but I never underestimate that.
Now that the Kaiviti Siltails will not feature in the rest of the Ron Messi Cup competition, the debut win against the Wolves in Lotoka in March becomes their first and last game of the season. Carleni Tavi, FBC Sports.
Netball Fiji hopes to get enough funds to host the 2021 National Youth Championship when the new budget is announced. Having made its submission to the Fiji National Sports Commission for the next financial year, the Federation can now only wait and hope.
So obviously there will be the national coach's position. We have a few areas, because we're hosting the World Youth Cup, if it does go ahead next year, there are technical areas input into, and we need to bring these experts in, so funding for that, and of course funding for the competition proper.
The Fiji National Sports Commission has received requests from various sporting bodies and will now take its proposal to the Economy Ministry.
All the submissions from the sporting bodies were in by the end of February, and we submitted a month ago to Ministry. We're due to start meeting on them with the Ministry of the Economy next week.
The boxing world is excited after British heavyweight champions Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury agreed to a blockbuster 2-fight deal. In our play of the day, English Premier League clubs are gearing up for the restart of the next season next week. Amongst them is Arsenal, which will hope a repeat of this morning doesn't happen when the games get going. This as the side lost to second-tier club Brentford 3-2. That's it from sports tonight. Coming up in new media, social media giants under the spotlight in Europe. Details after the break.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
And Angie joins us now with the latest in weather.
Konbawa and welcome to the weather world. We have witnessed a few changes in the weather system. While it's all smiley sunshine at one place, it's dull and rainy on the other. Well, the weather shouldn't be a bother because the weekend is approaching. Let's be glad about that. Now in the west, it was sunnier. The sun loves the west a little more. Very fine showers indicated for the night. Eastwards from Pakhawa to Suva, if you have been drooling over the gloomy spells, well, here's good news. It won't stick around for long. And up north, beautiful weather scenario for the northerners. The rain will sweep in later tonight. It will be very light though. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Sunrise at 6:34. Now turning to the tides, high tide at 11:38 p.m. with low tide at 5:33 a.m. For tomorrow, it's Friday and all these showers will farther away. The clouds will give some rain signals, but it will be nothing major. Tomorrow's temps, most centers will see good temperatures. By good, I mean cool temps ranging in the high 20s. And looking further on to Saturday, it's a shopping day, a must, because the conditions will be just right for you and I. That's all the weather news from the weather world. It's back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji Pulse tonight, we ask, do you believe wet weather is the only reason for bad road conditions?
Could be the rain, but I think it's the contractors who are not doing a good job.
I have been driving a taxi for the last 3 years. The road conditions is really bad. I hope the FRA fixes the roads quickly. Rain can be a factor, but I think the number of cars in the country is the biggest contributor. So our roads need a total rehabilitation work.
I changed all my reckon, my bushing, my ball joint and tie rod end just last week. Yeah, because of the very bad road.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, USP Pro-Chancellor defends suspension of VC, child rape claims against anti-government Facebook page administrator, and Lautoka prays for COVID-19 response. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question this week we're asking, will you be willing to resort to local holidays to help our tourism industry? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, we're off to Singatoka for today's shot. Doris Money sent in this from the world-famous Singatoka sand dunes. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, stay safe. Bye for now.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.